Hello, good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you're very welcome. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channels every time I upload a new video like this so you get notified straight away. But in this episode, which is episode 8, we're going to talk about closing down from spirit. And then I'm going to talk about my experience of visiting the Freedom Tower in New York and give my little tribute to one of the victims of 9/11. So grab a tea or coffee and let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is closing down from spirit. And this is just my opinion based on the way that I work, and other people's opinions may vary. But it's really important that we are disciplined, especially doing mediumship work. You are disciplined and looking after your own energy. And the way to do that is to make sure you are closed down from spirit when you are not working. And that's because when we are connecting with spirit, we are raising our vibration. We are changing our consciousness. We're raising our consciousness to working on another vibration. That takes a lot of energy. And what can happen is if we keep ourselves open to spirit, our energy gets depleted and we end up being exhausted. And I know many of you watching this video, if you are a medium, whether that's practicing medium, professional medium, working medium, whatever, we all know that we've had those moments where we've not closed ourselves down properly and we wake up in the morning and we are absolutely exhausted. So we really need to be looking after our energy more. I know there are people out there which are always open to spirit and they'll be constantly in contact with spirit, and that's great. But for me, this is just my opinion and how I work. I have to make sure that I look after my energy and don't want to suffer burnout. And I've heard many stories from many mediums who have suffered burnout and they can't work for 6 months because they're so exhausted, because they've constantly been on the go, read. And that's good because you want to help people, but it's not good in the sense that it just leaves you feeling exhausted, run down, and can sometimes make you ill. So I'm very conscious that whenever I finish a day of readings or I finish the reading session, I've got no more to do, I have to be conscious of closing myself down from spirit and letting them know that, okay, I'm now closed for business for the day and I'll see you again tomorrow or the next day or whenever I'm then doing more sessions again. But I really have to make sure, and I need to do it more often really. I need to take my own advice here, but I really need to make sure that I am absolutely closed down. And how I do that personally, it's just through intention. And a lot of mediumship work, spiritual work is about the intention. So to close down from spirit, I just say to them, right, I'm closed. And I imagine I've got a little trap door on my head. When the trap door is shut, that's my symbol to them or my sign to them to say, no, right, I'm closed. When I see that trap door in my head flip open, that's me opening up to the spirit world. But that's just how I work. And then I visualize all my chakras just shrinking, just closing down one by one. And that's me just close down from spirit, and I can get on with the rest of my day or evening or whatever it is else that I'm doing. I think that's the important thing here, is that as mediums, we are human beings. We need to live a physical life. We can't always have our head or our mind in the spirit world because we've got work to do, we've got things to do, we've got things to see, and we have a physical life that we need to lead. So we can't always be connected in with spirit. I want to touch on this topic because many people do ask, they say, when you're out and about, do you pick up on spirits, other people's spirits? Do you pick up on other people's energies? Do you always hear things in your head? And the answer truly is no. And that's because I'm very disciplined with myself. And I think you have to have discipline in this work. Because as I said before, we're human beings and we have to live a human life. So if I'm out in a bar or going to the supermarket, in the cinema, or just in a crowded place in general, I am very conscious of my own energy, and I'm very conscious of there's a time and place for readings anyway. And, being bent over the frozen peas in the supermarket, talking to someone's dead person stood next to me, ain't the place to do it. So I don't. So I'm very much, when I'm out living my life, I'm switched off, I'm close to business, and I'm living a life. And also it's about the people around you that you love. So for example, me and my partner, when we go out, now the last thing I'd want for him is for our time together to be disturbed by me constantly working or reading people, because that's our time together. So you also, it's not just about me, it's about, you know, my loved ones as well. And besides, I don't want us to be working all the time, okay? So we have to live a human life. So no, I'm closed down when I'm out. I do not connect in with spirit while I'm out. Even with people's energies, again, it's just the awareness of your own energy and having your energy protected, and just being aware that this is my energy. I don't want to pick up on anyone else's energy, again, because I'm a human living a human life, and this time is for me and my partner, or me and my friends, or whoever it is that's with me at the time. So you have to very much be aware of your own boundaries and not allowing yourself to overstep your boundaries by always constantly feeding into other people's energy, because again, there's a time and place. This is where I want to give my little 9/11 tribute, which links to closing down. And as I say, I'm quite disciplined in closing myself down. I'm very good at shutting myself off from spirit. But there's one occasion where that didn't work so well. So let's talk about that now. So it's December 2019, and I was going to New York with my mum, my sister, and my sister's boyfriend. And I knew when we were going that the Freedom Tower, where the Twin Towers once stood, is a place that we were going to go and visit. Now, before I even went to New York, I had psychic and medium friends tell me, make sure before you go, you completely close yourself down. And I understood why, because of the energy that's in that particular area from that absolute horror of a day may still be there. And I thought, yeah, no, I'm fine. I know how to close myself down. I'm all right. Little did I know that as much as I did close down, that spirit are still very much around in that particular area. So on the way to the Freedom Tower, I felt absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with me, felt fine. I felt maybe a little bit apprehensive, because I thought, I've been told by the mediums, make sure you shut yourself down, etc., etc. But I thought, no, I'll be fine. So, we got there, and, we had a look, we stood at the fountain, looking at all those names on the plaques on the wall surrounding the fountain. And it was quite peaceful there, because people were silent, there wasn't a lot of noise. And I thought, oh, okay, it's sad, but at least it feels peaceful up here. Then we made our way into the museum and down the escalators, and that's where things changed. So again, I was very conscious. I'm closed down. I'm closed down. I'm closed down. I kept saying to myself, I'm closed down. That's it. And we made our way down the escalators into the reception of the building. And as I looked to my right, there was still this raw iron structure still stood there, which was part of the original towers. And as I looked at that, I suddenly came over feeling a bit sick. Now, you could say there's something psychological there, because you're seeing something that's part of that horrific day, and it just brings your mind back to what happened. And so, yes, you might feel sick. Everyone else around me was fine. My mum, my sister, and her boyfriend, absolutely fine, but I just started feeling a bit odd. So we got down the escalators to the reception of the museum, and I started feeling really funny, really weird. And I thought, oh God, here we go. No, I'm closed, I'm closed, I'm closed, I'm closed. And as I stood there, I got the name William placed in my head. And I thought, no, that must be my imagination, because, William is, it's a common name. So maybe it's just my mind just being a bit paranoid that I'm stood here in this area, which, suffered a horrendous event. And then I got a surname placed in my head, and it began with a G, like Gardner. I thought, I'm not really sure. Is this my mind, or am I really getting this placed in my head? But as I was seeing that in my head, I also saw the image of a man's face in my head. And it was just a neck to head screenshot. He had dark hair, a big smile on his face, and he had a shirt and a tie on, but I could only see from there to there. And then I got the numbers 7 and 3 placed in my head. I thought, is this spirit coming through? And then I heard him say, I'm really glad that you came. And I kind of tried to pass it off. Again, I thought maybe it's my imagination. So I tried to forget what I was hearing. The longer I stood there in that particular area, the more I heard that keep going over and over in my head, William Gardner, whatever his name was. So I thought, right, I need to get this out of my head because I'm feeling a bit ill here. And I did think at one point I'd have to leave, but I stayed with it. So I got my phone out and I got on the internet and I typed in, it might sound a bit morbid, but I just really wanted to know where this person was or who this person was. So I typed in victims of, September 11th. And there he was, William Arthur Gardner. He was on the 37th floor. So number 7 and 3 got him back to front. So I thought, so this man is connecting with me from spirit. Why he's chosen me to connect with, I have no idea. But he latched on, and just as I said, he was glad that I was there. So we then started to walk around, and my sister and her boyfriend went off and they did their own thing, and my mum stayed with me. Now the thing is, my mum was seeing my personality change, which she told me at the end. The more we walked around, the more irritated I felt. I started being irritated with my mum, and that's not me. I don't get irritated with my mum, but then I started feeling sad, and then I'd feel angry, and then I'd feel happy, and then I feel irritated again. And that's happening to me all the way around. Mum just kept looking at me like, are you all right? Are you all right? And I didn't know if I was all right. I just felt all these different emotions on me. And I thought, this is not me, because I wasn't like this earlier. This is not my feelings that I'm picking up. And that's why I say it's being aware of your own energy. And I knew that this wasn't my energy that I was feeling. It was all this other energy that I was receiving, I was picking up on. And eventually we came to the memorial part. We have all the pictures of the victims on these walls. So we went in there and I looked up, and there he was, William Arthur Gardner. And it was just as I saw him in my head. It was a headshot from here to here, a big smile on his face, that dark hair with a shirt and tie on. I thought, that is who I was seeing in my head, that exact image I was seeing in my head. And I thought, okay, I got you. And I have to say, when he came through, there was no anger or resentment or bitterness from him. He was the energy I picked up from him was such a lovely, lovely man. And considering what happened, he was such a positive man. So I was just picking up on the feelings that he was giving me about his personality. But I have to say, what a gorgeous man. And moving forward, we left the museum and went up to the cafe, and all of a sudden, all these feelings just drained from me and they left. And my mum looked at me, she said, that plagued you all the way around, didn't it? And I said, yes. And so the point really is, as much as sometimes we want to close down, it's sometimes those situations where the energy is so strong in that condensed area that we can't help but pick up on those emotions and feelings and energy of the people that were once in that building. And also, I want to mention it, just give my little tribute, and I'll add a picture in here as well of William Arthur Gardner, just to kind of pay tribute to him. Obviously paying tribute to all of the victims of that particular day. But for him in particular, he's the one that chose to come through to me when I was there. And maybe looking back at it, he came through to me just to make me feel better. Just by telling me he's glad that I came. And just knowing that although I was picking up on those sad feelings, that energy, that really sad energy I was picking up on, that actually he was happy, he was in a good place, and he wasn't carrying any resentment or bitterness towards the day or the perpetrators. And that man really was all about love, really. That's what I felt from him. So I just really want to pay tribute to the victims and to him in particular as well. And it was an experience I'll never forget. I don't think I'd ever do it again, because I think it's one of those things, I've seen it, I've done it, and I don't really want to feel that way again, because I did feel quite ill walking around that particular, that museum. So to round this up, it's just really important that if you are doing this work, even if you're not doing this work and you know you do feel spirit, it's really important that you discipline yourself and you have that discipline to make sure you close down from spirit when you're not working and when you don't want spirit to communicate with you, using some of those things that I mentioned earlier on in the video. Because you're a human being, you've got to live a human life, and hopefully you've got a lot of time here yet in this physical world before you go over there. So you need to make sure you are protected, your energy is protected, and you understand what energy is yours and what energy belongs to somebody else, because you don't want to be taking on anybody else's energy. If you feel good, you want to stay feeling good. You don't want to start picking up on other people's energies whilst you're out and about in crowded places. To make sure you are closed down, you know what your energy is, so you can continue living your life and doing those human physical things that we need to do. And then if you want to work for spirit, then you open yourself up to them, but do make sure that you do close yourself down when you're not working for spirit. So that's been episode 8, a bit of a shorter video than the other ones, but I just wanted to touch on that because it's been on my mind. So I just wanted to get that out. And I know many people have those questions anyway about, how do you close down? How do you do that? And so I thought it was important to talk on. So thanks very much for joining this episode. Hopefully you'll be back again to watch future videos. So again, do like and subscribe to the channel. So every time I do upload one of these videos, you get notified straight away. So thanks very much again for joining, and hopefully I will see you in the next episode.